A growing number of officials throughout the country are vowing to remain so-called sanctuary cities in the wake of Donald Trump winning the election. Mayors in cities like New York and Chicago are trying to ease the fears of their undocumented constituencies since Trump appointed Senator Jeff Sessions as Attorney General. Sessions reportedly wants to prosecute sanctuary cities. Joining me now is Victoria DeFrancesco, an MSNBC contributor and a professor at the University of Texas. With a welcome to you, Victoria. Let's get right to this. How realistic are Trump's plans to stop sending tax dollars to these cities as a way to punish them?
Well, in reality, he has the power to do that, Alex. But I wanted to back up for just a second and get down into what a sanctuary city is, because we hear the term bandied about a lot. But in essence, I think it's easier if we understand what it is not. I think we have the common perception that a sanctuary city is a shield against deportation, that if you are an undocumented person who lives in a New York or a Chicago or an Austin, that immigration enforcement officials cannot come to your home or your place of work and deport you. That is not the fact. What it has to do with is the technicality of how extensively local law enforcement and federal immigration law enforcement will cooperate. So take two cities, a sanctuary city, a non-sanctuary city. An undocumented person gets arrested for a DUI. In both instances, they will be processed. Their fingerprints will be sent to a national database of ICE, Department of Homeland Security, and FBI. It may be flagged that one of them has a criminal record. In a non-sanctuary city, that person will be held beyond their release date so that the feds can come and apprehend him or her. In a sanctuary city, that person will have to serve whatever time is deemed necessary, and then they will be let go, and it's the federal government's job to apprehend that person afterwards or not. So that is the main difference between a sanctuary city and a non-sanctuary city.
Okay, so clearly it looks like local law enforcement, local officials have to work with the federal officials if they're going to be in a sanctuary city, in a non-sanctuary city, and vice versa. The local officials, I've read many of whom are saying we are not going to honor it if Donald Trump declares a war on the sanctuary cities here. Can they do that?
They can, but what is the size of the stick that comes at them? So I have seen estimates for just New York City alone that if they do not honor the secure communities agreement of saying we're going to hold these people for the federal immigration forces to come and get them, that could cost New York City over $10 billion in federal funds. We're talking about the same league of funds for LA and for Chicago. So yes, they can do it, Alex, but economically, are they going to be able to sustain that pressure?
We should point out there are 200 cities that are sanctuary cities in this country. You mentioned New York, Chicago, and the like. What about Donald Trump kind of loosening his stance on some immigration issues since election night? But how do you read him putting someone like Chris Kobach into his administration?
Right. So it's been interesting because we see Donald Trump, and I saw this even earlier, Alex. Toward the end of his campaign, he walked back a lot of the talk about mass deportations, and he just pivoted away and started focusing on other issues, not so much immigration. But then he wins the election, and he names someone like Jeff Sessions, who has been a very staunch activist against immigration expansionary policies. And then we see Chris Kobach. So I don't know what is going to happen. He has the folks in his government that want to go after a more restrictionist policy, even though Donald Trump is sending mixed messages. So I think we're going to know right around the end of January what's going to happen.
In other words, stay tuned. Okay, we'll have you back to talk about that and more. Victoria DeFrancesco, thanks so much.